Hey folks, my wife here with episode 17 of The Edge. Sorry about the delay folks, there's been a little few technical glitches going on with the iTunes feeds and stuff which I've had to maintain and take care of over the last week, but we are back with episode 17, so for all those diligent viewers, we'll go straight into our first video. Enjoy the show.
Come on! Oh, because the Whitey Show, the Whitey Show, the Whitey Show.
Whitey Show.
The Whitey Show, the Whitey Show.
Whoa, Whitey Show. I'm the review who loves to say son of a bitch. The same review who hates most Nintendo shit. I'm the one who calls games what they are. I even own a 360 and hate Gears of War. Guy who spends his money on games, fucking cards. Just a funny guy who became a YouTube star. When picking up Afro Samurai, my biggest fear was, oh no, another anime game, half-assed job just to get money. Safe to say, Afro Samurai does a good job. It's a well-made game. It's not amazing, and I'll tell you why. It does have flaws, but in the end, it's very fun. So before you just kick it and say, oh, it's another half-assed made game, how about you check out this review, and if you like what you see, check it out. Afro Samurai for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3.
I ain't scared of heights. It's the ground that kills you.
Afro Samurai story is pretty basic. As a kid, you watch your father duel Justice. Justice is the main villain of the series, and he's done by Ron Perlman, kick-ass voice acting. Anyway, Afro Samurai, once he gets older, wants revenge. He needs to get the number 2 headband to fight number 1. Pretty basic math, guys. Come on. So it's a pretty simple story, but with well-done voice acting, it definitely helps. The sad thing is that the story is like all over the place in this game, and unless you watch the anime, you'll probably be a little confused. But all in all, the story is easy enough to follow. Great voice acting. It just needed some work on how it was done and presented for the people who never seen the anime.
Wait, hey, is that supposed to be... Your reputation precedes you. An ugly son of a bitch, ain't he? They got that right. I especially like how they captured the sadness in your eyes.
The graphics. This is kind of hard to review for me. I love the style of the graphics. It looks great. When you cut people in half, it looks anime slash cartoon slash comic style. It does look amazing in that regard. What the problem I have with it is the raw power. It could have done so much better. After playing Prince of Persia and even the Naruto game for the PS3, you can see that this is not the full power of cel-shaded anime type graphics. It does a good enough job to get the job done, and watching blood spray everywhere, even in anime style, is awesome. But when you're fighting in midst and these guys are yelling out stuff and you don't see their mouth move, come on, a little more raw power, it would have been great. But the style kicks ass.
You saw that, right? This some fucked up shit right here. I'm gonna go get some coffee. Keep an eye on that bullshit for me, will you? Go! I think I'm gonna take the rest of the day off.
The gameplay is probably the hardest part to review, simply because it has a lot of good things and a few flaws. Let me get the flaws out of the way. One is the camera. The camera work is a little spazzy. I mean, if you play Ninja Gaiden 2 or Ninja Gaiden or Devil May Cry or any action game, you're used to this, so it's not a huge deal. I just wish the controls weren't inverted. I mean, I'm not used to that, so it's kind of hard to get used to for the first 20 minutes or so, but it's pretty simple after that, but the camera still needed some work. Besides that, the amazingly cheap slash hard bosses that they throw at you. Some bosses aren't a problem. Some are actually a lot of fun to fight. As you're watching now, I'm going to show a clip. And then some are just, oh, like you want to grab the fucking controller, throw it in the air, and samurai slash that fucking controller. That's how pissed off you'll get. There are ways to beat it. I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm just saying the way you have to do it, it's bullshit. They should have tested it out, made some sort of little weakness so you can at least get in there instead of getting hit by a flamethrower 6 or 7 times in a row without one slash from you. You'll see what I mean when you play it, but really, that's the only problem. Let's hit up the good. First of all, the combat is very fluid, very nice. It's easy to use, yet there's enough combos in there to show a lot of depth. I'm not saying it's Virtual Fighter, but it is well done, and I could put it next to Devil May Cry definitely, and Ninja Gaiden, no problem. The slowdown feature is great. When you're about to attack and you want to finish an enemy, you slow down time, you hold the X button or the Y button, and then you finish them, and it slices them in half, slices their feet off, slices their arm off, slices the top of their head off. It's just that you can slice all these different parts off, and like say they're jumping in midair, you'll slice their arm and then leg off in one swoop where the rest of the body's still intact and it'll fall over and die. It's just amazing. It's awesome, and it needs to be in every action game. I love cutting off different pieces of the body. I mean, Ninja Gaiden 2 did it too, but in this game it just feels perfect. Like, you know when you slice off their arm and leg and so on. You also have a lot of different combos, such as pouncing on an enemy, jump on them, and slash their head off. You have the block button. You have all the basic combos in terms of action game, and they all do it really well. The platforming, I just don't get the beef with the platforming. It's very simple platforming and very easy to do. There's only one part that's even slightly hard, and it's not even that hard. Okay, it takes, you calm down, you do it, and it's over. There's no platforming that'll make you throw the game out. I didn't suffer any of that. The frame rate's pretty good. The only time it drops is when it's basically loading a lot of enemies, but it never dropped in terms of combat, so that's good. Really, the only complaints are the ones I said, the camera and some of the cheap AI. The combat is very fun to use, very easy. It can get repetitive, but I'm saying any game can get repetitive. If you like what you're doing, it's going to keep you entertained, and Afro Samurai kept me entertained, and slicing enemies never got old. The enjoyability section is probably the hardest hit on Afro Samurai, simply because the length. It's only about an 8-hour game. If you want to beat it on hard afterwards, maybe you add an extra 6-7 hours or more if you get stuck. And to get all the achievements, the total amount you'll probably put on this is 20 hours if you want to get everything. Probably less, to be honest. And there's no online, no co-op, nothing really to keep you playing after you finish the story mode on normal and hard. So, all in all, it may not be a must-buy for most, but it is definitely a must-rent, in my opinion. I want everybody to check this out if you're an action fan or if you like Afro Samurai. Whether you rent it or buy it, that's up to you. Fans of neither of those, action nor Afro Samurai, you probably won't find any fun in this. Luckily, I'm a fan of both action, anime, and Afro Samurai, so I'm enjoying it quite a lot. But I see the faults, the length, the camera, the cheap-ass AI, but it's still a well-made action game and fun to play. So, in the words of Samuel L. Jackson, let's do this, motherfucker!
You're still just a child playing make-believe in your daddy's clothes. You beat him! Please! He let you win. Walk away, Afro. He's still trying to control you. He sacrificed himself to show you what it means to be truly alone. But you ain't alone. You got me now. Well, put it on, fool! Time to go! Any objections? And so it begins.
Age of Empires is a turn-based strategy game that combines the ease of use and the playability of turn-based strategy games like Advance Wars or Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics with the kind of depth of strategy and gameplay that people recognize from Ensemble's Age of Empires series. There's 3 different campaigns, one for each of the races. There's an Egyptian race, a Greek race, and a Norse race. And each campaign follows the adventures of one famous mythical hero, like Perseus or Ramses, as he helps his people face a number of enemies and trials. And he faces those trials through conventional combat, by leading armies and battles, capturing different lands, but also by helping his people worship and develop godlike powers and the help of the gods to defeat their enemies. The game is going to combine a skirmish mode, 3 different campaigns with each of the different races, multiplayer that you can play with your friends in a room via wireless, and play across the internet so that you can challenge anyone all over the world. It's a beautiful game. Fabulous heroic units, great variety of ways to play it in terms of strategy, building, research, capturing the map, that make it really a deeper, more long-lasting game than almost any other DS game. This is one game that will be easy to pick up and you'll love to play for a long time.
Killzone 2 has had people talking even before the PS3 was launched. Debates about pre-rendered footage clashed with hopes that this would be the definitive PS3 game, and the results of those arguments really weren't pretty. Well, the game is finally finished and we've played the hell out of it, many, many times. It's time to see what all the fuss is about. Killzone 2 continues the story from the first game and, more notably, Killzone Liberation. Now, you don't really have to have played those games to realize what's going on, but series fans will definitely see the connections. Some recurring characters will pop up here and there, and past events are referenced. The general setup to the game is that the ISA are convinced that the Helghast spirit has been broken, and they're now ready to launch an attack on the Helghast homeworld. You play a new character to the franchise named Sev, who's part of a special forces team called Alpha Team. Their objective is to capture the Helghan leader Visari. The story is relatively good for what it is. Rico, who's now your commanding officer, is still as unlikable and annoying as ever. But overall, the plot keeps the action moving, and there is a lot of action to be had in this game. The first thing you'll notice when you load up the game is that the graphics are incredible. Lighting, animation, and character models are all top-notch. It generally runs smoothly, but there are some hitches here and there when it's loading a new level or autosaving, or even getting to a new checkpoint. But it's really not too bad. There are also some annoying low-res shadows and textures, and some weak effects. Close your eyes when you see the fugly resuscitation beam or the flamethrower in effect. But overall, you'll really be happy. We all knew that it would look good, but the best thing is how the graphics add to the atmosphere. There's a real sense that this is a large-scale conflict. Grenades are going off everywhere, hundreds of bullets are flying around, guys are catching on fire or blowing up. If war is chaos, this certainly is war, and you're gonna feel like you're right in the thick of things. The campaign is single player only, but it does have this interesting co-op vibe to it. You'll always be fighting with a squad mate or a group of other guys. Luckily, the AI is intelligent enough. They'll cover you and they'll go after enemies that you probably haven't seen. Other times, they'll get in your way and you'll have to elbow them in the head to move on. The gameplay is solid. There's a cover system that's relatively intelligent. You stick to objects and you can line up shots or cook grenades from safety. There's also much variety through the whole campaign mode. You'll be going from giant battles, to ambushes, to choke points, to more vehicle-based levels. Now, I actually wish that some of the vehicle and turret levels were longer, because they're great moments where you really feel like you affect the flow of the entire battle. But overall, the single player is a great campaign for the entire 8 to 10 hours it'll take you to complete. So what about multiplayer? In a word, awesome. 32 people can play online, and if you don't have a full map, you can add bots. The multiplayer mode is class-based, and it's insanely deep. If you kill people or you do mission objectives, you get points that lead to promotions. These promotions unlock things like guns or other classes. The 8 maps are cherry-picked to maximize chaos, and there's a squad system with a dedicated voice channel and spawning on a squad leader to get people right back into the thick of the action. It's all very well thought out. The amount of hype behind Killzone 2 may lead some people to be disappointed, but that's not really fair to the game. The fact is that this game has a great single-player campaign, an amazing multiplayer component, and looks shiny to boot. It's a great start to 2009 for Sony, and you should definitely check it out if you own a PS3. For the full written review, head over to IGN.com.
Sega.
Hey, just wanted to make a video of the new DLC for Fallout, Operation Anchorage. I just completed it on my Xbox 360, and I haven't really found any reviews that I liked online, so I thought I'd give you one. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a great addition to the Fallout game. It brought things into the game that the game had not yet had. Fallout, one of the biggest downfalls for Fallout was the lack of bosses and the lack of a lot of fighting. Through the entire game, my first playthrough to level 20 and beating the game, I only killed something like 400 enemies, which, I mean, that sounds like a lot right now, but through 20 hours of gameplay, it's not that much. This DLC adds a lot by bringing new enemies, weapons, not just into the simulation world that you go into, but also into the actual game. What happens, the basic idea is that there's this computer kind of holding hostage all these weapons and armor that a group of your Brotherhood outcast allies want to get to. So what you have to do is you have to go into the simulation, use your Pip-Boy, the little computer on your wrist, to fight your way through this simulation, and then at the end it will unlock this door, basically, by beating the computer. The simulation is that of a Chinese invasion of Alaska. So, it's you trying to fight back, liberate Alaska, Anchorage in this case, from the Chinese. The simulation is very interesting because when you go into it, you lose all your items from in-game, and you end up getting a whole new set of items. Not just items that have already been unlocked in the normal game, but also new items. You get things like different clothing, you get new weapons. A common one that probably everyone's heard of. The Gauss gun is now unlocked. Single shot, kind of new type of sniper. Very fun, but I didn't really use it much just because the single shot is kind of ineffective. A lot of fun. The beginning of the simulation, you end up walking around quite a bit. You'll just end up shooting enemies from afar, looking for ammo and health, which you don't get stim packs anymore. There's little health containers on the ground which you click on, and they refill your health all the way. Another great thing about this new part was that it was a lot harder than the rest of the game had been. I played the game on very hard all the way through, and never found it that difficult. If you found maybe a couple times when there were raiders or super mutants when you were low level, it was a bit harder, but never really that difficult. This, however, became difficult at stages. There's this one part where you have to lead your squad in and take out a Chinese couple fuel tanks. At that point, I had some troubles. I had chosen a weapon kit that was close range, and chosen some infantry men to be in my troop who were also somewhat close range, and the fighting was longer range, so I had some problems there. I had to play that a couple times, and then eventually I just went back to an earlier save and used the sniping package instead. Still lots of fun, very good. There's a final boss, which was... He is a boss. He's definitely a boss. He's harder than any other person was in that game, even the behemoths. But still wasn't that great. Afterwards, though, when you get back out and you go and go into the room that the computer was holding down, you get to get his sword, which is really cool because it's a melee weapon, but it's a shock sword. So when you hit people, it starts to electrocute them. The new DLC overall, I would give a 8.5 maybe, if even, maybe an 8. Fun, maybe. I don't think it's really worth my $8 or $9 or whatever it is, because I mean I beat the whole thing in maybe 2.5 hours. So I mean I can get half of a game with that pretty easily. So good and bad. I'd recommend it if you liked Fallout. Lots of fun. Another big thing about it was, I don't know if this is how you have to do it, but for some reason, when I loaded my level 20 character that had beaten most of the game, I could not use the DLC, so I had to create a new character from level 1, so I went through all the baby and everything, and had to remake my character, and then walk all the way down to where you meet the guys to go into the simulation on the map, which I would much rather have done the whole simulation on my level 20 account, but because you don't keep your weapons from in-game, it wasn't that big of a letdown. Still recommend it. If you have to create a new character, so be it. Lots of fun.
Dominic, Tom Hagen has been my consigliere, and now my attorney. He's going to join your family and be your consigliere. Make sure to listen to Tom's advice. He's a smart man.
I know you can pull the trigger, but can you pull the strings? From now on, you'll see the world through the eyes of a Don. Expanding your empire requires timing and planning. Every wreck can be part of a crime. For guns, cars, perks, take over the right crime ring. Create a family from the most talented soldiers. Arsonists, bruisers, engineers. When the time is right, promote the earners or eliminate those who don't make the cut. We need to think beyond the streets. Protect your empire. Bribe, influence, bond. That's what we need to hit the 5 families. Are you ready? Good. Let's go to work.
Hey YouTube, this is 94 Master here. I'm just going to do my my second app review. I have the it's going to be an app for the iPod Touch or the iPhone. I have the iPod Touch 2G with the volume rocker switch and the built-in speakers. So let's just unlock the iPod. Right. As you can see, I have many apps. I'm just over the next couple of weeks or months, I'm going to be doing loads of app reviews. Hopefully, I will cover all of them, if not most of them. Mainly the ones that I think are the best and and you know, the ones that I like most. So the one that I'm going to do today is Crash Kart. So I'm just going to go on. Now, I'm just going to say, there is a PlayStation 1 game called Crash Team Racing, I think it is. Crash Team Racing? Yeah. And it is exactly the same, really. The same principle, you know, racing with karts, go-karts, all that stuff. It's got similar graphics, similar everything, really. So, this is the main menu. You got quick race, start game, options, records, help, about, and quit. The main ones you'll be using are quick race, start game, options, and records. In quick race, all it is you click that button there, you press it, and it goes straight into a race on a random track, random amount of laps, usually depending on how large the track is. So that's quick race for it. Start game, if we just press this, you have 4 different categories. Tutorial, which is if you're not familiar with the game or you want to know how to do something or one of the controls, just press that, and it will go straight into the tutorial, and that will explain everything. Cup is like a championship. There is about 2 or 3 races in the championship, and at the end, the winner will win a trophy, like usual. The overall winner will win a trophy, like that. Story, if we just press this, goes into another menu. There are 8 missions, going from easy to hard. Obviously, the last one will be the hardest, and believe me, it is hard. I've completed the game. I just managed to do it. It took me many, many tries, though, to do it. So, that's story mode. Then there's time trial, which is just going on your favourite tracks, or whatever track, and posting best times, which then you could go on records to see other records. So I'm just going to go on quick race. Like I said, as you probably see now, the graphics are very good for a device this size, considering you couldn't get much like graphics like this 10 years ago on a you could get these sort of graphics 10 years ago on a PlayStation 1, so it's very good. It is. It's got all the same sort of basis of the one for PlayStation 1. It is very much like a emulator you can get for the iPods, that's jailbroken. Obviously here I have the iPod Touch, like I said, and there isn't the jailbreak yet, so make sure you subscribe for that, so I'll be doing a video for that, and I'll be doing loads of stuff like app reviews from Cydia and all that stuff, so make sure you subscribe for that. So on the actual racing, as you can probably see, I'm tilting the iPod from right to left to go around the corners. You can also change the sensitivity of this to make it more sensitive or less sensitive, depending on which one you like. I like it more sensitive, so I've got it on the highest setting. Just then I got apples. When you get to 10, you get a nitrous boost thing, which makes it go faster, obviously. So that's good. Down here at the bottom, I have a weapon or something. Sometimes you get bombs, you get TNTs, like I've got. To activate them, you just press it, and then it drops it. I just dropped the TNT there, and it will under the character. There you go. See the character celebrating there? That shows that me putting that weapon down there was in use. I got somebody, so that's good. Coming to the last light here. There we go. Finished. As you see, it's just jumping there. To do that, you just press press the screen, tap the screen, and it jumps. It can be an advantage if you do it right time around the corners. So that's the end of the race. You can see 3 different characters: third, second. I came second, and then first, and it gives me congratulations, you finished second. And you press the tick. And then it comes back to your main menu. So I hope you enjoyed this review on the iPod Touch 2G or iPhone or whatever. This, you can buy it. It is £3.49. In fact, I will just go onto the App Store to show you. It should be in the top 25. It should be. I'm not sure, to be honest, though. There it is. Crash Bandicoot. Rated 4-star. And it is £3.49. I'm not sure what that is in America. But it's very affordable and very good for the price. It is hours of fun ready. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe, rate and comment. And once you've finished this video, watching this video, head over to my YouTube channel. It'll look like this. So yeah, just head over to this and check out some other videos. I've got here. I've got the another app review. So just check it out, really, and thanks for watching.
Well, that brings us to the end of episode 17 of The Edge. A bit of a quick and dirty one this time around because, like I say at the beginning of the episode, a lot of technical difficulties we've had to go through this week with FeedBurner, who provides our feeds for us for all our podcast listeners on iTunes and Podcast Alley, I should say. We've been having some problems with the new changeover from FeedBurner to Google FeedBurner as well. However, like I say, a quick and dirty episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We will get you an episode 18 out very, very soon, and it will be back into its usual format. But until next time, folks, you can leave all your email messages at mailbag@thetotalgamer.com for any feedback or comments regarding the show or any of our other shows as well. You can also visit the Total Gamer website. You can also check out many of our affiliated shows, like the Kid Dog Show, which has now finished off its final episode. Worth checking out all of the previous episodes while the site's still active. You can also check out our friends over at the Weeds podcast through our affiliated shows link. And, of course, through our own website, we can find the Total Gamer USA by JT, otherwise known as Okata, Kona, Dan Van Dam, and myself, each and every week, bringing the latest stuff we see from a US point of view, even though there is a Brit on there, as Kid Dog likes to point out. And of course, speaking of Kid Dog, we've also got the UK version of the show, which is also known as GUTV, where Kid Dog, Spy 101, and James the Journo Bachelor give you the best independent industry news from a UK point of view. Be sure to check all of those shows out, and until next time, folks, we'll leave you with this last parody. Have fun!
In real life, I'm a douche, but on web and photo, I'm a star, need over true. Don't care who you are on Rock Band 2, I'll leave you ill. My guitar skills are real on Xbox Live, Xbox Live, Xbox Live. World of Warcraft takes time. My gamer tag is VIP69. When I'm killed, it's alright. I'll come back alive. With Hawaii, just controller. I'll take you over. Call of Duty, Gears of War. You could never beat my score on Fallout 3 and NBA Live. With Kobe, I'll make you cry on Xbox Live, Xbox Live, Xbox Live. Yeah, GTA, I'm a lady guy. On live beat, Soldier Boy Nazareth. Wanna go to war somewhere, grab your box. I make it loony like the governor from the shop. Like my boy Fred and Big. 2K to the 9, we high. What? Get it, you wouldn't get it, you don't know what to say. So like a Chucky, I'ma just wing it. I leave you left for dead, shoot you down to zero. Your girl say I'm her guitar hero. It's hard to rock man, man. Can't sing long as I follow through anything. I still score, man. Real yellow like a nana on the ground. Pay others to right, catch you by my sound. My breath look like it stink, well it do, man. With no wires, just controller.